Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're strapping in for a stunningly reflective, deeply personal journey. We are tracing the firsthand account of Laura Parker. She's a cyclist who decided, you know what, I'm taking on my very first multi-day solo bikepacking trip right through the rugged, beautiful mountains of Mexico. And as you'll see, over the course of 6 days, Laura faced some seriously punishing gradients, annoying mechanical breakdowns, and honestly, her own internal doubts. But, spoiler alert, she also found incredible generosity, breathtaking views, and a profound sense of accomplishment. I love this because Laura's own words set the perfect stage here. She says, I planned a 6-day bicycle ride, my very first multi-day solo ride. I'm so glad I did it. Now, if you've ever done any seasoned traveling, you know a journey like this is never just about logging physical miles, right? It's literally an internal reflection, it's a test of willpower, a huge leap of faith. And Laura's audio diaries give us this incredibly candid look at what it actually means to just step out your front door and pedal straight into the unknown. So moving right along to section 1, preparing for the unknown. We're talking tires, gears, and a whole lot of grit. Because, get this, just days before departure, Laura is absolutely battling the dreaded tubeless tires. I mean, she removes a tire and the liquid sealant violently spills everywhere, creating this sticky, gooey disaster all over her garage floor. Then she's fighting with CO2 cartridges that just refuse to puncture. Her husband, Neil, comes to the rescue with brand new valve stems. But that just leads to bulging O-rings and her tires losing a pound of pressure every 2 hours. In her own words, she was pissy. She stormed upstairs, immensely frustrated by a process that took literal days just to get her bike to hold some air. You can totally feel that frustration, right? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer mechanical grit it takes to overcome these pre-trip hurdles. To fix her shifting derailleur, Laura actually creates her own little mnemonic mantra. She says, wise away, counter closer. Basically, clockwise moves the mechanism away, counterclockwise moves it closer. She ends up doing exactly 12 quarter turns to dial it in. And her husband, Neil, talk about a lifesaver. He proves his DIY skills by taking a sawed-off 8-inch broomstick, drilling holes in it, and zip tying it right to her rear bike bag, all just so she can mount her Garmin radar light. That is pure, beautiful problem-solving right there. Okay, let's shift gears. Section 2, Magic Towns and Mountains. We're heading into the true beauty of Querétaro. Just take a second to really absorb these awe-inspiring views. Seriously? Wow. As Laura pedaled out of the towns and onto these paved mountain roads, the landscape just blew wide open. She talks a lot about the absolute quiet. There was hardly a single car in sight. It was nothing but sweeping cliffs, deep valleys, and the vast, gorgeous waters of the Zimapan Dam. It was so stunningly beautiful that she actually found herself constantly stopping, getting off her bike over and over again, simply because she couldn't resist taking more photos of this glorious empty world. It's like a giant, quiet puzzle she gets to ride right through. But you know, the road is always wildly unpredictable. It wasn't just pretty scenery the whole time. It was filled with these highly specific, totally unexpected realities. Imagine entirely running out of water right before a massive 12-kilometer climb. Oh, or how about the terrifying moment a protective daddy donkey came flying out of the trees to charge her on a narrow mountain pass? Yeah, no thank you. But then there were moments of absolute bliss, too, like meeting up with Neil in the Pueblo Mágico of Zimapan, sitting down at a little cafe and devouring a gloriously perfect hamburger at 9 a.m., just because she earned it. That brings us to Section 3, the kindness of strangers, a look at some very unexpected help. Let's move to see how this builds, because picture this. Laura is screaming down a mountain grade, totally overshoots a guard shack near the dam, and is abruptly informed that bicycles are strictly banned in the upcoming tunnel. Oh, and it's dark, it's dangerous, and she is absolutely forbidden to cross. She's miles away from her cabin. You can imagine the despair starting to creep in, right? But the guard says, hey, you can hitchhike. Soon enough, a big pickup truck rolls up. Inside are 3 young delivery men. They immediately jump out, clear out space in their packed truck, toss her bike in the back, and offer her the passenger seat. Talk about a lucky break. And it gets better. When they safely drop her off, Laura naturally tries to pay them for literally saving her day. But the driver just completely waves her off. As Laura recounts it, his attitude was straight up, absolutely not, you are absolutely not giving me money. He made it so clear that taking cash would completely ruin the pure act of doing something nice for a stranger in need. It's just a striking, beautiful moment of unmotivated hospitality. And you know what? That hospitality wasn't even a one-off.
Early in her trip, Laura booked what she thought was just a solo room, but she actually ended up staying inside the home of a local family of 5 in San Pablo Toliman. Going into this trip, she really feared being lonely. But instead, she was welcomed right into their kitchen. The husband walked her over to a stand to grab these amazing pork gorditas and a chorita paloma. While she showered, the mother absolutely insisted on washing and hanging up her cycling clothes to dry. Later on, she sat there peacefully while their 7-year-old son Christo cozied up right next to her to watch Sonic the Hedgehog on his tablet. I mean, it was the warmest reality imaginable.
All right, let's get into the hard stuff. Section 4, gravel, gradients, and grit. The real physical toll of the ride. I want you to think about this number for a second. -14%. Let that sink in. Laura hit descents so incredibly steep she was legitimately terrified for her brakes, gripping them for dear life. But, as we all know, what goes down in the mountains inevitably has to come back up. So on those backcountry roads, she faced those exact same punishing 14% gradients, but in reverse. And this isn't smooth pavement you're looking at, no way. It is a brutal, completely washed out gravel path. The rocks were so relentless on that steep incline that she was actually forced off her bike entirely, pushing it step by agonizing step up the mountain. Her legs were absolutely screaming. She tried to stop for just a split second to catch her breath, maybe get some of her joy back, and in that exact moment of vulnerability, she was suddenly swarmed and bitten by a vicious, relentless cloud of horseflies. Actually, scratch that, it wasn't just a cloud, it was an ambush. She had no choice but to hop back on the bike and flee. It was a pure physical and mental grind. Which brings us to Section 5, conquering the final climb, the legendary El Salto. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when our minds play tricks on us. By day 6, staring down the massive 238-meter climb of El Salto, the mind games really set in. Laura is exhausted, her legs are totally fried from the days prior, and staring her right in the face is the final, dreaded boss of this journey. Look at the expectation versus the reality here. The fear. Well, she was so preoccupied with this climb, she even contemplated just sticking out her thumb and hitchhiking to avoid the whole thing. She agonized over the lack of a shoulder, the fierce winds, the steep grades she remembered from the past. But the reality? She absolutely crushed it. When she finally started pedaling, the gradient maxed out at only 7%. I mean, that's a total breeze compared to the 14% monster she'd already conquered. The monster she built up in her mind was entirely an illusion. As she pushed through those final kilometers of dirt roads, her bike was completely caked in mud. She was bone-tired, doing what she hilariously described as the pee-pee pants in a desperate search for a bathroom. And man, she was desperately craving another burger. And then, riding right toward her on the dirt path, she spots them, the orange bark busters of Neil's motorcycle coming to greet her. It was the ultimate triumphant relief of making it back to civilization, completely under her own power. So the crucial point is this. Looking back at the wide open skies over the Mexican mountains, this journey was a complete internal transformation. She pushed past the infuriating frustration of spilled tire sealant in a sticky garage. She navigated terrifying donkeys and exhausting horseflies. And she fully embraced the unexpected love and kindness of local families and random delivery drivers. Sitting by a ravine on one of her final nights, just listening to the birds, Laura had this profound realization of simply having a great life. She ventured way out into the unknown and came back deeply, deeply fulfilled. Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought for today. When you strip away the familiar, when you load up your bike and face the mountains completely alone, the world opens up in ways you can literally never plan for in a garage. So what could you discover about yourself if you just started pedaling? Think about it. Thanks for coming along on this explainer with us today, and we will absolutely see you on the next deep dive.